Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Bridging the Gap Between Men and Women. I'm your host, Ramont Williams. I have two special guests on my show. My partner, the, the, the notorious Q,
Going on, y'all?
and the beautiful Tabitha. So, introduce yourself, please, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Ladies first.
Okay. Well, hi. I'm Tabitha. I am 52 years old and single and nosy.
Hey, I'm Q, 41. Uh, Born and raised in Vegas. Hey, as soon as y'all start, I'm relocating for a second, but yeah, born and raised in Vegas, and that's about that.
Okay,
Got
well,
on the other side.
thank you both for being on.
Mhm.
I don't know what's happening with this thing right here, but tonight's topic is 50-50. And we'll start with you, Miss Tabitha. So give us your perspective about what you believe 50-50 is in a relationship, whether you agree with it or not.
What do I think it is?
Yes.
I think it's both parties being in resolve, meeting in the middle, which sometimes isn't exactly 50-50. Sometimes it's one pulls a little more weight and the other doesn't mind picking up the slack in the other areas. It's 50-50 means everybody meets in the middle. There's healthy communication and everything's out on the table.
So what about you, Q? What do you think about that? Do you concur with that or?
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree all day. 50-50. Just like from the ground up, pretty much. If you both come from the ground, and y'all work your way up. And if anything happens to happen with all that divorce stuff, it's 50-50. So why not, meet in the middle before all that happens? Hoping it don't happen. And the women that I have, the women that I've, dated in the past, that was never an issue with me. So I guess I was one of the lucky ones, because a lot of my boys, it wasn't like that.
Why do you think that is?
I have no idea. A lot of them are chauvinist, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Interesting.
So, the consensus on social media, which is the key motivating factor behind a lot of ideologies that most people embrace today, particularly young people and some older people that's in their prime. What do you think about both the women and men, more so the women, because that's what social media promotes, that believes that they're doing 100% now, paying their own bills, providing for their family, the whole 9 yards. But if a man was to come into their life, they don't believe in 50-50. They've been very adamant about it. And they're saying, if a man comes into my life, it is his responsibility as the provider to pay all my bills. What do you think about that?
Who says this?
A lot of them.
Okay.
They all over social media.
Oh, well, I don't, that's I guess I wouldn't know because I hardly ever check my social media. Not a way of life or anything. So
right.
I think
right.
I believe that whether it's a guy doing it to a lady or a guy that does it to another man or whatever the case may be, it's still weird. It's still offset. It's still not. That's not, yeah. You think guys should let women pay their way?
That's like I said, when the relationship starts, that's where most people mess up at. They come in, maybe a dude will come in and just and insist upon how he was raised, or how his grandparents did things, or whatever his elders before him. Like, I have to take care of everything. I see a lot of dudes say that, but the dudes I see say that a lot are extremely well off. They're a lot of wealthy dudes, and the funny thing behind that is these dudes that are saying that, they got millions in the bank now. I've heard stories about other girls that they've been with or whatever. That wasn't the case back in the day. They was sleeping on their sofa. They was doing this, doing that, deadbeats to the world. And the girl was going out working 2 or 3 jobs to survive for both of them. So I just think it's when you meet somebody, you're supposed to, don't just dive in on the first day or even the first week. Get to know each other, fill each other out, and then say, okay, if we get into this, what's it going to be? Because I believe in this. Do you believe in this? Okay, what do you believe in? Do I believe in it? Got to meet in the middle. That's why it's called 50-50.
Definitely.
What about you, Tabitha?
Well, is there another question? I feel like that's pretty much, everybody has their own idea of what it is. You know what I mean? It's never going to match up, perfectly with another person's, but I think, what if the person that you love, do you believe in them enough to get their back on that level? What if they were at the bottom of the barrel, but you saw something in them, right? So is that no longer 50-50 because they're allowing you to help them? Is it really Team Us? Does that really exist?
Not unless you're enabling them. You got enablers that'll just let people walk all over them. There's nothing wrong with. I'm sorry, what was that?
I said those are the type of people that need to be needed.
Well,
some people have a.
Your camera was frozen.
You're buffering, Q.
My bad. Hold on. See if I can.
My thing is this: if a man decides to come in and coexist with the woman, whether it be residing in his residence or residing in this woman's residence, I think there should be a standing obligation and understanding between both parties that man coming in, because I think there's a misconception when it comes to gender roles, and particularly that of a man. Provider doesn't mean, which most people today, they get any type of forms of education. They take things and tweak it and twist it and make it fit to their special situation at that given time. So I think what a lot of women have done, and I'm not badgering women by no means. These are the things that I've seen on social media. I haven't experienced it personally. I'm only going by what I've witnessed on social media. These women are taking the word provider and they're utilizing it to deflect in their best interest, where it's contrary to the man or what the man represents. And what I mean by that is simply this. Here's a woman that's paying 100% of her bills. She's taking care of her children if she has them, if they're still living at home. She's paying all her utility bills, her mortgage or rent, whatever. She's on Section 8. She's paying her car note if she has one, and her insurance, plus food and any other expenses that she has. Now, if a man comes in and says, well, you know what? I'm willing to go 50-50 with you. So what would be the mindset of these women today where they would say adamantly and be ready to fuss and fight about it, that if a man comes into my world, he must take on all that responsibility? Now, we know as men that providing doesn't mean always financially, but because a lot of women, not all women, have these distorted thoughts and they're delusional about the realities that encompasses relationships. They're just riding the bandwagon of what social media is throwing out there. So with that being said, me, I'm gonna use me for example. If I get into a relationship with a woman, the first thing we're going to talk about before we even coexist in a resident is, okay, how are we going to do this? Now, if you want me to take the bulk of the bill and pay the mortgage, if that's $2-something grand, you get all the utilities, I'm fine with that. But if anything else arises, then how do we do this? Because now it no longer becomes 50-50. In my opinion, it becomes you utilizing my resources to your advantage.
Okay, let's break that down then again. Let's see if we can all figure out what we collectively believe the household duties, the gender roles. Let's figure that out. So I know you still believe in them, right? I mean, traditional gender roles would say the man's supposed to take out the trash, right? Right.
Okay.
So break it on down. Okay, you're saying this 50-50. We're talking about the financial breakdown, right?
Tabitha, if women have fought so hard to have equal rights, why is it the man's role to take out trash? If you want to be equal to me, why don't you take out the trash?
I'm saying let's make a collective. Let's just figure this out, because to me that's where 50-50. So yeah, let's figure out who's supposed to do what. How can you figure that a man shouldn't take the garbage out? We're talking traditional roles. That's my point. Like, things have changed. So now, obviously,
how do we apply traditional roles when women are moderated? They're so far detached from traditional.
I think most women today, I really think that you should read group on your statistics, because you're talking about 22-year-old college co-eds that have this mindset.
No.
So I mean, realistically, most women I know don't really have too much time for social media. So I don't know how you can get a lot of wholesome facts based off of that. Most women I know don't mess with social media that much.
Well, here's the thing, and I reiterate this. My basis was upon social media, the surveys that I've taken, and the studies and the information I've acquired from social media. Now, social media, I think we all would agree, maybe you, because you're not on it like we are, that social media not only influenced young people, but it influenced older people the same, all around the world. Okay, I'm not saying all women have this mindset, but you got all these podcasts that's on right now. You have all these guys that's dissecting the dialogue between them and their guests, and these women have basically the same ideology. If a man comes into their relationship, they're not even talking about traditional, because they're detached from the traditional. They're talking about their independence, what they desire, what they want, and what they must have in order for a man to coexist with them.
You don't think that traditionally the man would take the lady and he would be the sole provider and everything? He had to make right with her daddy first, or her family first?
But we don't live in that world anymore.
I don't think that a lot of the instincts have changed. I feel like everybody's still a little bit of a caveman. Women too. People know what they want. Okay, people know what I don't know. I know that you've had some interaction recently, and I have heard some assorted opinions or desires, what women would want for themselves. We had this little chat about this. Now, most women don't want a weak ass man. That is, I don't know what's going on. That to me, that's just a fail. That's a fail. Any man that lets me boss them around is not a man. It's really. I mean, they let you get away with it where they know it's not a big thing. Yeah, go ahead, be in charge of the kitchen, girl. Do you? But you know where the boundaries are. I don't know of any women that really wants a weak man like that.
Yeah.
Don't you feel that as a man, you are supposed to have this final say? So there's an unspoken set of rules that the man's supposed to have final say so over certain things. And I don't mean just the thermostat and I'm talking about the big things. But it really is. That's what it is. Ultimately, the man seems to be up to the thermostat. Anything my daddy did, I kind of still feel like that's the way it is. Right?
It's like that in a lot of households. It's like that in a lot
If
of
the daddy
households.
says that this little boy or this little girl can't come to the house, they can't come. If they, if he, whatever it is, you can't go, you can't go.
Well, let's put it like this. You being the woman that you are, we could easily characterize you as being a traditional woman. The women that I'm referring to are not traditional women. Okay, they made that perfectly clear. They declared their independence. Okay, and what they're saying is there is no compromise with men when it comes to 50-50. Either you come in and take the role as a sole provider, take on all my responsibilities, or there's no relationship, there's no kitty cat. And that's not fair.
This is really
Simply-
what you're hearing. So they
Huh?
want you, they would say, just make sure I'm feeling you. So the women want a man that wants to just take them into their world and wants them to pay their way, and that's a problem. That's what you're saying, right?
When it's on some gold digger stuff, yeah, like these women getting all dolled up to go to basketball games and try to bag LeBron or something like that. In that sense, because that happens every day. That happens no matter what. We in Vegas at the Usher concert. These women are trying to take Usher. You know,
Men do it
and
too. Peacocking is a real thing.
okay, yeah, you're right. It's like it's 50-50. But on the women's side, what'd you say?
I said you never know. I mean, stranger things have
Yeah,
happened.
no, I done seen it on both sides. But on the women's side, you asked that question. Is that what he was talking about as far as women doing? In today's world, a lot of that goes on. Like you said, you're not really into the social media and all that stuff. And all that junk comes down from all these influencers they're seeing. They want to live that life and keep up with the Joneses. And this Bayhive movement crap that they've been on for the last few years. But Beyonce did make that song about independent women, and those same independent women, as soon as they get a man, want him to do everything. I don't understand that, because I've seen that a lot.
I'm not a fan of Beyonce, so
Me neither. But that whole movement is ridiculous, because they say one thing and they mean another.
Well, it's normalized and it's glamorized for ladies to not act like ladies. Get as much as you can for doing as little as you can is the mentality.
And it's all ages. It's all ages,
well,
men and women.
It's a learned behavior as well as a taught behavior.
Right. I'll agree with that.
I come from a mother that has multiple degrees, so she would never let the world know that she was struggling. She always was neat as a pin, proper Southern lady, every day, every single day. You would never know if she was struggling. You wouldn't know it. Everything about her was as neat and tidy as a pin, and you would never know. She'll never let anybody see her sweat,
Mm-hmm.
So, and she did it all. One year, she even had to work at McDonald's, and she was up at the ski resort, like teaching, people how to ski after she worked a 40-hour week for the government office. Like, she did it all. She wanted to buy herself a house. She wanted to buy herself a nice house. So she did it.
Right. So those traits, I don't see as a commonality today with women. I know a lot of women say that they're career driven, but they're so invested in their careers and their education that they dequate or devalue the man being a part of that. So now they become so focused on their careers that, like, I was just talking to a friend of mine, and I was asking her about, well, how do you feel that void, or do you have, tendencies where, you just feel that you're just going to excommunicate men entirely from your life? And she said, well, no, what I do is I fill that void with working an extra job. Now, everybody that knows me know how I feel about working 2-3 jobs. I'm just not going to do it. You know, if I can't go out and work one job to pay my bills, then, you know, working 2-3 jobs, that only simply means one or two things. You don't have the education to self-promote yourself, or you don't have the necessary skills or employability skills to get you in a higher paying job. So if you have to work 2-3 jobs in order to pay your bills, then that lets me know that you're not managing your time and effort right. That's just my opinion. So with that being said, when she told me, well, I just work an extra job and then a part-time job, and I'm saying to myself, so when you go home and lay down at night, before you turn off all your lights and you look at the ceiling, I know that thought have to come up in the forefront of your mind. You're laying in this big bed by yourself. Where's your man at? Because if you look, now I'm talking about social media again, Tabitha. Mm-hmm. You look at all these women that's on social media that's famous, whether it's in the entertainment industry, whether it's in the sports industry, or just social media popular. They're all single. So you got all this success, just like Charlie Wilson said in his song, "What is a castle without a queen?"
Mm-hmm.
So what do you work so hard to get all this stuff for if you're not sharing it with anybody? This is what I'm not understanding.
Okay, so is that a question? It is what it is.
It's a statement.
How do you live with somebody and not know, like, I can't stand you, I don't want to share this with you, bye? Why does that not happen for you?
Well,
so you not all of a sudden one day get that glimpse of them and be like, ew, and then you don't know, you just stay with them? Like, it's I mean, I don't know. How is it that somebody
they'll let it be known nowadays,
stay with you forever, and you just don't realize that they don't love you? You didn't know? Well,
I think you're kind of missing the point. We're talking about the imbalance when it comes to relationships and the false expectation that women are now promoting and advocating for, that when we talk about 50-50, they will not even entertain the thought of embracing 50-50. It's either or.
I think that sounds like somebody has a little trouble managing their expectations, because that sounds unrealistic.
Why don't I suggest this to you, Tabitha? Get on and just do this for a couple of days. Mm-hmm. Get on TikTok and Instagram, okay? Just for a couple of days. Okay. No, seriously. Get on TikTok and Instagram for a couple of days. Mm-hmm. And watch the narratives of almost everybody that's talking about how women think and act and what their expectation is today when it comes to unrealistic life expectations. And then we'll revisit this. We'll do a part.
I have notes on this that I wrote up last week, just in case you brought this up. I have notes on this. You want to go there?
I'm ready.
That's good.
You want to go there? Because I got stats.
Hey, I don't mind going wherever you want to go, but here's the point.
I all the way to international to get my stats for the age group that we're talking about, supposedly talking about. Don't make me put the man in the middle and go get those notes.
But
I have percentages, and I have percentages based on whether or not they come from single parent households, whether or not their parents went to college. I got all the stats, all of them.
Okay, well, I think, and I haven't done a bunch of research on this, but I'm hearing a lot of it where people are now saying they're basing their decisions, how they interact, whether it's male or female, with the opposite gender based on a person's relationship with their parents and things of that nature. Now, to me, I think that's unrealistic, because you can come from a background with the perfect parents, don't mean you're going to be a good person. It really doesn't.
Percentages. You know, I can go get the numbers for you, because I figured that you were going to only be looking at the women's own. You know, there's one stat that hasn't even altered over time, regardless of whether it's become less or more. The one stat that hasn't changed is which gender is the most likely to cheat. Guess what gender that is?
Well, come on.
That's the one stat that hasn't
What year?
changed at all. It hasn't changed at all.
Hold on, Q.
Plain.
Tabitha, listen,
Mhm.
listen.
I'm listening.
You can go by these biased statistics because
Uh,
hold on. It has been proven. Okay. Now we can revisit this topic right here tomorrow. Okay, if you like, get all your statistics and I'll get mine. Here's the reality about life today.
okay.
Women are more conniving, more manipulative, more deceptive, and they cheat way more than men.
Really?
Really. That has been
Yeah.
proven. Kevin Samuels proved it.
Who?
And every other person that has a talk show that's famous have proven this through their personal surveys and stuff.
Oh yes, I agree with you. Women do, they cheat. They're nastier now than ever they've ever been in history. They're more trifling now than they've ever been. I agree with you 100%.
So
But
if
even still,
we continue on this path,
okay.
if we continue on this path, then it becomes almost like we're badgering women again. And I don't want to do that. All I'm simply saying is the mindset of women today when it comes to 50-50 relationships. They're not even entertaining based on the consensus. They don't even want to discuss 50-50.
Are you sure you're okay? I feel like we're having this discussion right now, so I'm open to it.
Well, again, I'm gonna
What were you
suggest to
saying?
you for the next 2-3 days. Hold on, Q. For the next 2-3 days, because you know me and you know we talk about this all the time. For the next 2-3 days, go on Instagram and TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
These are two social media platforms that influence the world.
Okay.
And see what the narrative is, not only from men, but more so from women than it is men, about how these women think and how delusional they are.
Tell me the question that I need to know. What am I exactly looking for?
I just told you what you're looking for.
So can you simplify that for me? Can you do that? What is the question that I'm looking at? What am I? How am I going to find these conversations? What topic?
Listen. There is no specific topic. It's basically women being delusional. Okay, modern day delusional women that has these false expectations, this entitlement attitude that they're going to save themselves for some 6-figure rich man, and you know they may have 3-4 kids, 5, 6, 7 baby daddies. Men of this stature are not even interested in women like this. They're not. So women come to this point where they say, well, men are intimidated by strong black women that's opinionated. No, men are not intimidated by women at all, because when it comes to physical attributes, women cannot compete with men. That is a proven fact.
And
okay, when you're in a relationship, it's about partnership. It's about lifting each other up. It's not about you having a voice over mine, you being a conversation bully because you didn't listen to some woman on a talk show that's a feminist and she didn't encourage you to come in here and disrespect me. No, that's not what life is about.
I agree.
And this is what I'm talking about. So if you take the time to go on here and watch from TikTok to Instagram, you'll see the narratives. When these hosts are talking to these women and asking them about their expectation, and then I can guarantee you 98% you will come back and say, you know what, Ramon, why is everybody talking about these women expecting this and these women won't do this and they say they won't cook for men, they won't do this for men, and then we'll have this conversation again.
Oh, okay. Women won't cook for men.
Like homework to me.
I don't know. This is all news to me, so I don't know. How? Okay.
See, it's hard for you to picture what I'm saying because you're not in the realm in which we seem to navigate on a day-to-day basis. So if you're not in that world, you can't understand what's going on.
You have to
See,
remember my history when it comes to that, though, because of my former, lifestyle and life was in a completely different atmosphere. So I've heard and seen a lot. I do know that there's some just be smart. That's my advice to all men. Just be smart and cautious. Don't tell too much. Because these broads, they remember everything and they hear it all. Even if they I'm just saying, be smart. Because I worked in the gentleman's club industry for as long as I did. Wow, like the women, a lot of them just don't have a soul.
Well, see,
they just don't have a soul at all.
Your former lifestyle and the thought process of women today is entirely two different things. No matter what came into the club, what happened in the club, what was said in the club, it's like night and day from social media. It's two different things. We're talking about.
It sounds to me like it's just a hellified version of what I heard before. Just a broad with a louder mouth that you can't hide from her voice, because it's popping up everywhere. That kind of like the opinions they're like, I mean, they're not even opinions. They're like these women. I don't know. I'm not with the whole emasculating men. That whole thing is really.
So let me ask you a question. From your perspective, as a woman, Black woman, okay, do you think there's any great disparity between Black men and Black women?
Disparity, divide, disconnect, all of that.
Okay, so if you believe that, okay, why do you believe that?
What do I believe is the source of it, or why do I mean?
Yeah, I'm talking about, how did you conclude that there's such a great disparity between Black men and Black women?
I think it's something that came with just generation of change, and the kids are taught now that they don't need their parents' leadership as much as back before. They are really driven to thinking for themselves, and not having the consideration that we were taught to have for our family or our just in general, just that overall preservation. You want to shame yourself or shame your family, and kids are taught now to not give a crap about that and just do whatever and be, and almost teaches children to look down on what they come from in a way, to separate themselves. So that is a big part of why, I mean, I can see that my thing is flashing. I have to go get a charger for this in a second. I can see like a lot of the people I know that come from like a guy with 5 sisters, and the daddy wasn't there. It's not like it used to be, you know what I mean? Where they want to just protect women and shelter women. They're like, these broads are crazy. Like, I want to get out of here. And you know what I mean?
Well, let me say this.
What it is.
And I know this to be a fact. I don't care what the psychologists say. I don't care what the psychiatrists say. None of that. Okay. We almost every human being that exists has been through some adolescent trauma to some degree. That's just a fact. Okay. You can hold on to that bullshit and take it through life and let it stagnate you, where you can't accomplish anything. You can't focus on anything, or you can say that was something that I had the experience that was beyond my control and move on. You have to take life as we know it by the horns and control it. There's no destiny. There's no faith. These are words that come from the Greek terminology. Life is what you make it. Rich people are rich because they strive to be rich. Poor people are poor because they're lazy and complacent. Middle class people like us, we're working to struggle to get ahead, to pursue a better life. It's a simple fact. So if you believe what you believe, then you have to understand and be able to relate to what I'm saying, that these women, And I'm talking about these social media women. I'm not talking about all women. So let me put that disclaimer out there so nobody inbox me with all that nonsense. I am not talking about all women. I'm talking about these social media degenerates that's so disillusioned that they believe that they're just going to sit back with these misguided ideas that they have, with this tainted coochie, you know, with these demands and all this entitlement, and
We
thanks
should take a
Prince
commercial break.
Charming,
We'll go in and get a charger for my iPad because I
you
need to go get the charger for my iPad.
okay, and think some Prince Charming or unicorn is gonna walk into their life, Q, and it's not gonna happen. They're gonna die old and miserable and lonely.
Hey,
And
that's what I keep telling them that, man, and that they don't want to hear. And to what y'all was talking about a few minutes ago about why do you think you know, especially the our people, when it comes to men and women getting together clash, is because hey, man, I'm gonna go close. It's not 100% out here yet, but it's out here. There ain't no real papas no more. There ain't no real big mamas no more. There ain't no structure in families no more.
right.
And that can be said for everything. That can be said for family. That could be said gangbang. That could be said for everything that goes on in our culture. We don't have nobody to look up to no more. So the
There's
people
no
that we
code.
do
There's
have
no
to,
ethics. That's why.
yeah.
There's no
So
code.
the people we do have to look up to now are coincidentally called influencers. So that's what we're talking about, this social media stuff, and all these influencers. These people are literally living their lives by them. So you get on the male side, you get dudes that's looking at all these fools with their skinny jeans on, and that's what they want to be. And except they don't have the money, they don't have the fame, but they portray that, they live that life. They go get all the fake jewelry and everything else to be that dude they see on the social media forum. And then on the other side, you get the women. They want everything that Kim Kardashian's wearing. They want this, they want that. That heifer Rebecca Live always on some BS. They want to be them. And so when you get those two blown up heads in the dating game right now, you get both of them, that is to answer the question why we collide so much. Because there's not two people trying to date each other and get a 50-50 understanding. You got two egos or entities trying to date each
I
other.
agree.
And that's where the clash happens big time, especially in our community. That's where the clash happens, because you got the dudes saying, I'm not doing this, that's it. You got the girls saying, I'm not doing that, that's it. And then sadly, sometime the dudes go on, they probably messing with dudes. Girls go on to mess with girls. So I mean, that's what happens all day, every day. And like I said, it's not brand new, but because it's been happening, I've been seeing this junk since middle school. But it didn't get bad until you know, after I graduated. I say probably about 10 years after I graduated. So right around 2010, 15, around that time, that's when it's the dating game just been trashed now. And that's actually when I kind of started getting into it, because seeing all that stuff, especially being from Vegas, you know how it is out here, being raised in Vegas and all that stuff. It was bad. It was bad. So I seen all that stuff. Like I said, I told you the other day, I was always a Chuck Woolery. I never wanted a relationship because of that. All that stuff was coming out around that time. I'm like, I'm not dating that shit. I'd rather be alone, because it's gonna be problems. And that's what everything is now. Problems, because they trying to be somebody on social media.
Let me ask you this, Q. You know, in all honesty, would you agree that most men are choosing, I'm talking about men that have their lives together. I'm not talking about men that sleeping on somebody's couch, men that don't have their finances in order, don't have bank accounts, don't have credit cards, don't have good transportation.
Right.
I'm talking about men, not males. Would you concur that men that have their stuff together are refusing to date for these factors? I believe, and I'm one of those men, because of all the social media hype and the things that women are saying about men, what they expect of men, and what men must do in order to coexist with them in their world. Men are reluctant to approach women in the public arena because they're I don't want to say afraid, but their reluctancy to be embarrassed, because usually women are with their friends. And if a woman is going to start saying things that's embarrassing, men don't want to be subjected to that. You know, also, men do not want to be with women that's very combative. Okay, me personally, I don't have a problem, and I'm gonna give you an example. There's a lady that I talk to on rare occasions, right? And she may be watching this tonight, and I hope she is. She has this mindset because she's financially up there. Let's put it like that, right? She has this mindset that men must cater to her wishes, but yet she advocates that she's a submissive woman and she's looking for a masculine man. But see, the two, when I took it to the lab and tested it, conflict with each other. Because when a woman tells me something, I'm going to test it. See, I'm not one of those guys just take everything for face value, because we don't live in that world no more. Okay,
that's the thing, though. I said that's the thing, though, because what she was talking about, what she was describing, and what they was looking for, they not looking for men. They looking for boys. And the story has flipped. At least since I was little, the whole thing has changed around. So these women now, they you know, they're making good money, they can take care of themselves, but not looking for a man. They're not looking for a man like our parents and our grandparents were back in the day. They're looking for a boy. So when I say looking for a boy, they're looking for a toy. Usually older women, they don't want men their age. They want a young thing. That's what it's all about nowadays. It's not traditional. It's not date within your zone or your age or whatever. It's not that no more. They think, and I forgot who was talking about this. Somebody was talking about somebody in a relationship, whoever makes the most money has the right to cheat, some bullshit like that. But they see themselves on top of their world, and now men become boys and just pretty much they're slaves. Whatever they want them to do, that's what they want them to do. And then, like I said, a lot of dudes think the same way. I know a lot of guys that older guys, older than me, that date, you know, girls in their 20s and then 30s. There's nothing wrong with it. Me personally, since I was a little boy, I've always liked older women. I hate women my age, you know, growing up. And that's why, because the women that I knew growing up were actually women. They were mature, they handled their business, they was hustlers if they needed to be. They were the definition of what a woman is and is supposed to be. Versus nowadays, to where it's just, you know, it's so easy to make money, you know, if you got if you got a nice pair of titties or something like that, you get online, you get you a following, and then, you know, then you got men throwing themselves at you. So you got men at your disposal, and vice versa for the men. You know, you get up there, you the king of the world, this, that, all the women want you. Why settle down and do a 50-50 when you have that, that kind of temptation going on.
Right.
So that's why it's a lot of head bumping, and that's not just with our community, that's period. But with the brothers and sisters, it's more because you can't control brothers and sisters. You can't control them in the pen. You can't control them out the pen. That's just how it is.
So what do you think about that, Tabitha?
I'm indifferent because, I feel like most people don't sit down and actually like figure out what really makes a man to you. I mean, what in most women's that have healthy process and functioning, like, and a good grip on reality, what really idealizes a man to you? I mean, I'm wondering if people are really even in touch with, like, ask a man your age, like, what are the traits that you find most attractive, that you really look for, in a woman? Do they even know exactly? Could they list them to you? I think most of the time I think the roles are we're all getting mixed signals. You know what I mean? The idea of a man isn't someone who will go and work for, minimum wage if he had to support his family. He won't get the honor. The guy who sells drugs will. You know what I mean? So
That's true.
you know what I mean?
So
the guy who goes and busts his ass is going to be looked down on like he's some schmuck. You know what I mean? And a fool and working for the man. You know what I mean? He's just trying to keep his nose clean so he can be there for his family. Ultimately, the guy who puts his freedom at risk and other people's safety at risk is glorified.
So what would be your definition of a man?
Wow, to put that into words, I see that to me, a definition of a man, someone that doesn't look left or the right for approval, someone that doesn't need another man or woman to make them or to make them in any way, and someone that can't be broken by a man or a woman. To me, someone that's an army of one. To me, somebody who has his own personal values that nothing or nobody can make them bend on those things. You know what I mean? The roots, what you come from, should matter. Somebody who has respect for himself, respect for what he comes from, respect for his elders. Those are all things that really do matter to me. I can't look at a guy who talks down to elderly people and I just can't. Those are things to me that are just the deep rooted turnoffs. Just watching how people treat other people can make or break them in one afternoon. They can, you know what I mean, go from great to hate that fast with me. You know what I mean? I could just see that how they act in a restaurant or something that will just be like, who are you? Who do you think you are? Humbleness is really important, but at the same time, I have to have someone whose confidence makes him humble. He's someone who's got such a rich amount of confidence that he doesn't need to be the life of the party guy. You know what I mean? He doesn't need to be the guy who gets the last word in, or he doesn't care what anybody looks to him to see what he thinks. Isn't even influenced or affected by that petty stuff. You know what I mean?
So let me ask you this.
I have kind of really fierce expectations when it comes to a man myself.
Okay, so you have this untainted perspective of what a man is through your personal definition. So this particular man that you've just defined, what would be his role in a relationship, a 50-50 relationship, based on your opinion?
Okay, well, his role as far as, am I looking for him to be like, every woman has their own expectations of what a man should do. You know what I mean? Are you going to be that chick that does all the housework? You know what I mean? Can he even sort out his laundry or make sure it all makes it into the hamper? Or is he just a slob that just takes a shower and expects you to come and wipe it away? Or does he cook dinner some nights? And are you okay with all this as a woman? So the 50-50 rides on how much the woman's what she's gonna complain about and what she's not gonna complain about. Yes?
I hear you on that.
I feel like it's the truth, because if she doesn't say anything, that 50 can stretch into a whole lot of other things, right? If the woman doesn't object to, who's to say what's 50-50 to her? I feel like like a guy expects for you to, do the laundry, or you expect your guy to take your card, you get fixed. I mean, what is this? Are there any traditional roles that should still be implemented? I feel like those are just things that a guy should want to do for his woman. You know what I mean? Obviously, if there's a flat tire, do you really expect her to get out and change it? I will get out and change my own tire. I'm not gonna real talk. Like, I will get out and change my own tire. It'd be nice for someone
And
to
that's a
offer
good
first.
thing, because that's what I'm teaching my little one.
No need for weak women. Don't ever be a damsel in distress. It's not necessary.
Right.
It
I
only
teach
attracts
them
people
some stuff
who
you do
need
yourself.
somebody to. Yeah, it is what it is, you know. Do I expect, like we had this talk last time? If I hear a bump in the night, do I expect to do? You might be waiting a while. You know what I mean? When you can figure it out on your own.
Well, here's my thing in a nutshell. I find it very difficult if I was in a relationship to do any of those gender role things that would be expected of me if a woman didn't appreciate or respect me. Why would I take out your trash living in your house? Can you hear me?
Yeah, our trash.
Yeah, no, your trash. I'm in your house, so it's your trash.
I feel like if
Okay,
we made the trash,
so
then it's our trash.
yeah, why would I do any chivalry by taking out your trash in your home that I'm a visitor
so
in?
we're talking about if this was at my house. Sure,
Well,
I'll type the trash for you, and when you leave, you can take it with you. Because that's, you know what I mean? There you go. Why not?
Take it on the porch.
You can take it with you to the trash if that's what it is. I would take the trash out at your house.
Well, here's the thing.
That might be a fair exchange.
Now, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But what I'm simply saying is that there's so much expected from men in general. Okay, we take the world on our shoulder. It is our responsibility to confront and deplete anything that poses threats to us or our family. That is not a woman's role. You know, we have to, there's so many things that encompasses being a man other than having a penis down to your knees and enable the ability to impregnate a woman. Okay, there's so many more things, but because society has made this man to be a man that has no values, no principles, and operate on the premises of what other people expect him to be, what you say you're totally against, it's easier for males to be those type of men because there's nothing really expected of them. They're doing what every other male is doing. So when you fall outside of this square, this box, then you can expect to be ridiculed, backstabbed, talked about. Well, he's a narcissist, or he's this, or he's that.
Yes, but you know what? As an
norm.
adult, I know those things. But you know, I grew up with an ultra alpha male for a father. You know what I mean? And it wasn't that he didn't have social like time and friends and all this type of crap. When he did have a friend visit, he'd meet him in the garage, and he didn't have hanging around, you know, parties with his people flopping on his couch and stuff like that. No, my dad was an alpha male, like just Marine Corps as it gets, you know. So that his values have stuck with me. I mean, if you were lucky enough to be allowed to date after 16 years old, and they have to come to the house, and they better stand up and shake my daddy's hand, look him in the eye, and he'll watch. And if that door isn't open for you, he will end the date promptly. My dad will just abort mission. That is, the date is no longer happening. Okay, if you come over and you don't stand up and shake hands, you're not going. You're not taking her anywhere. And if you made it out the door with one of us alive, you'd have the fear of God in you, I would think. Don't bring us back late. That's going to be a problem, you know.
Well,
I don't know. It is what it is. You know me already. I have a voice too, but your man, you should want your man to reel you in when you should know in the back of your mind that he's going to let me just go just to this little edge of this little reality that I live in. And you should have that respect. But when he does rein you in, you know he's serious, and then you call it off, whatever it is. right?
Mhm.
Right. I mean, you can't reside. I can't reside in some. Just, I mean, I've just seen a lot.
So let me ask you a question. Are you single?
Why do you ask me that every time I talk to you?
Maybe I
I'm
forgot.
still
Different thing.
single. I'm still single.
Okay, you're single, right? So you said this at the beginning of the show that you agree with the 50-50, but
I do.
so again, what would be in a 50-50? I'm not talking about a 70-30, 60-40, 80-20. What would be the man's role in your 50-50 relationship?
As far as what? As far as what?
What
The daily existing, as
As-
far as a household, as far as does he? I mean, we're talking about still the same age group, correct?
I'm talking about
It's a man,
anything
period.
that
Oh, man.
encompasses a relationship, with a partnership.
He has
What
to
would
have
be
his
the
own thing
man's
that he
role?
does for his finances. Hopefully, he has his own social life to. And I mean, realistically, I like to. You need to be in shape. Okay, I can't have a slob. I'm sorry. I'm superficial when it comes to that. Still, like, if I'm gonna look good, you have to look good. You can't just not try to look good anymore. You know what I mean?
So you're basing your relationship on how a man dressed, based on
No,
how
I'm not
you
talking
feel he
about what
should?
clothes he puts on his body. I'm talking about himself, his temple.
Well,
You
I'm
know,
talking about that's
what does he
probably
eat? Exercise.
that's
Like, how
probably
is he?
80%. That's probably 80% of the men in America is obese or overweight and out of shape. So the other percent of men, which one have you chosen?
You know, I really am at a point in my life, the way my mind is functioning, I really want to spend my time with someone that I can learn things from. Someone that has knowledge that is part of what attracts me to him. So that's the coolest thing in the world, to be able to learn something from somebody that you're learning about. I mean, I'm not above that, you know. I only know what I know, and unfortunately, it's a slew of information that doesn't add up to a degree, or, you know,
So a
it's just
man that can be a
it's just
teacher then.
I mean, he can be whatever he wants to be. I mean, a teacher.
Teach and learn at the same time, because that's what we was talking about earlier about the
Well,
two egos
I had a
colliding.
really intimate, personal, wonderful friendship, but I still do with actually a former UFC fighter, and he is an instructor. He's one of the people that is a true martial artist. His whole character, everything about him is just fascinating. He's so intelligent, and he's just one heck of a guy. You know what I mean? And that, to me, that's appealing. But like, do I want some guy that goes to school to teach like what? Like the junior high school? I don't know that we would have that much in common. I mean, whatever he does is great, but how are we going to interact? How are we going to interact? I refuse to ever again, like, be in a relationship with someone that, I mean, you shouldn't have to ask yourself, does this person even really like me? You know what I mean? The last person that I dated, like, realistically, he was a person that works with us, and you know, that was, I must say, when you're that whole, you give somebody the title, right? Like, you know, to say and act freely as if they had the title. You know what I mean? Respecting their boundaries and all that crap. You know what I mean? It's a lot of foolery and trickery, because you're trying to be this, you know, respecting his boundaries, so he can be a liar, basically. So whatever. That's why I feel
It's too
about
much
that.
temptation in our industry.
Oh,
That's
no,
the first
here's the
mistake.
thing: when you have had interaction with a person for the better part of 2 years, and they give you back lingerie that doesn't belong to you, how you gonna feel?
So we're coming to the end of the show, but let me ask this, Tabitha, if I could.
You could.
If this is the type of man you truly desire in your heart, you've been with men before, correct? You have children,
Yeah.
okay, and I'm not saying this to be condescending or degrading. I'm basically asking a question. So at what point in your life did you come to this conclusion that you wanted a man that could entertain your intellect as opposed to your body?
Well, obviously not when I was younger. I matured at a really slow rate when it comes to stuff like this. I really did. It wasn't that I didn't have an overall respect for the man. I just chose people that and had these expectations of their behavior that would have been I would have had that no problem had they had that role model in their life, had they saw the value in those behaviors. You know what I mean?
But
Don't men want their women to know that she can come to them and that you're gonna, no matter what, you got her.
but I'm not understanding. Help me understand how a man's upbringing is relevant to your choice in becoming intimate and being in a relationship with it.
Well, because now I'm going to ask a lot of questions and I'm going to really force myself to gather information and gather data, because pay attention to who you're letting your guard down to. You know what I mean? Pay attention. Actually have a script. I don't care if it's corny or not. Have a script of things that you should want to know. And don't get caught up in the cute kissing and all this because you love it and no one has made you feel that cute in a long time. That's great and everything, but like figure out who they are, because you know what I mean? Just don't do yourself the favor, because it is what it is. It's good to know. It is very good to know.
So it would be safe to say now you're looking for principles and values as opposed to swag.
Well, if they meet the right criteria, they'll be loaded with swag. The swag will just follow. I think.
But wouldn't you agree that swag and
no fake ass. No, not no child like I'm not looking for like Backstreet Boy appeal, like something significantly more mature.
Okay, that's what swag is.
So, well, you know, let's look it up on the Urban Dictionary and see what it says. Right?
Well,
I think that's a good idea. I'm about to. I really don't laugh at me. Okay, let's see. What?
I love this lady. She is so hilarious.
Why are you laughing at me? Because you know what, my daughters, they tell me that I'm green, and I don't know. Okay, I don't know what's cool to say anymore. It turns out, I just learned what keeping it a buck was. Didn't I tell you that?
Oh, wow.
I just learned what that is. Did I say it right? Keeping it
What
a
did
buck.
you say?
Keeping it a buck or something like that. You know how they would say keeping
it 100
before? Yeah. So my granddaughter just told me that she's keeping it a buck on the buck or something about the buck. It's the same thing. It's the new of saying keeping it on 100 is keeping it a buck.
Okay.
Or something like that. So what were we looking up, swag? You never heard of keeping it a buck?
No,
I'm
62 years old. I've never heard that.
That's 20-year-olds. That's 20-year-olds. They be saying that, but yeah. I'm right in the middle, so I can understand a little bit of it.
Okay, well, let's
go ahead. I'm listening.
This is what I'm requesting that you do. We host our shows on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, right? But what I'm willing to do tomorrow evening is come on and do a part 2 of this show.
Okay.
I'm humbly requesting that you go on TikTok and Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to discuss the narrative that you view and what your perspective of that narrative when these people, both men and women, are talking about women, and it don't put a age on them. It just says modern day independent feminist women and their perspective.
Your swag, very cool, drippy, or badass.
So that's not valued or principle. That's not valued. Men don't have swag
factor. You're the one that.
So what if you meet?
You're the one that.
What if you meet a dude? What if you meet a dude with swag with a dad bod?
Dad bod swag. Dad bod. The swag that. Well, wow. I mean, dad bod. That could be, what are we talking about? Just, not
A
chiseled.
dad bod is dad
Beer
bods.
belly.
He could have a beer belly, a dad bod. From what I understand, at least from what the ladies say,
There's so many women out there that love that. I don't have to be one.
right. So that's what that's why I asked, because you like the swag. So you got to have the swag. You got to have the swag, but the dude got to look like Ron Coleman though. That's what you're saying.
Reality has said it. I mean, come on. Realistically.
Okay.
Realistically. The cutoff is he a shirty at the beach or not?
Okay,
If he's a
well,
shirty.
so are you willing to take on this challenge?
Yes, I'm gonna look at TikTok and I'm gonna look at Instagram.
Okay, and you're looking for the narrative of what?
Still having trouble putting that into words. I was asking, hoping you would condense that thought so I can how do I don't do this. I don't.
She got to look at certain profiles though.
I've never done TikTok before, so I don't even know how to what am I opening a chat room? Am I going to, how does this work?
No, just go to the home page and just scroll down. That's it.
And I'm just gonna look at ignoramuses in the female form. I can do it.
Well, you
can look up.
For
okay, look up women influencers. Okay. That's a good way to start. So women influencers of all of all geographic, demographic, minor, all that stuff. Look at all of them. See how they trickle from the top to the bottom.
Or just modern day women. Modern day women.
Walks of life. You mean demographics, right?
Yeah. No, because modern day women, you might get some Martha Stewarts. You just might be this boring.
I said walks of life.
I want like ghetto Barbie or something. Like look up ghetto Barbie.
That's walks of life.
These Rebecca chicks, all them.
Wife, right? Okay.
They make trophies.
You have to go on.
A trophy to somebody.
Go to Instagram.
Okay.
And type in modern day woman.
Modern day woman. Okay, let me do it.
Yep, there you go. Go to Instagram, type in modern day. Hey, all of it popped up. All of it popped up. And you tell me.
Type in basketball wives.
And what
tomorrow?
I want the ghetto.
Tomorrow's topic is going to be about social media's modern day narrative. Let me write it on my calendar.
We can look on
social media modern.
I have to sign up for Instagram. Okay, hold on. Damn. Okay.
Okay, so there you go. I've given you. Hey, you have the vault. All you have to do is go in there and look at it. You get your consensus tomorrow. At 8:00, we'll come on. We'll discuss it and see. Because something happened, and I know what it is. I text my IT tech, and the reason we're not streaming live on Facebook is because I did 50-50 and it's dated back to October the 25th. So
50-50?
Huh?
I heard, 50-50.
I was trying to look for the link.
I don't know. I'm surprised if you looked at it in a different search engine. I'm pretty sure
I can share it.
No, it's gonna be on YouTube, okay? But because all this is recorded to YouTube, but Facebook, it didn't stream, or Instagram, but it did TikTok, because the date on my system, I didn't update the date, and we went live based on a past date, so it blocked. That's how StreamYard is set up, so we're not going to worry about it. We got more days to come. We got more topics, so we'll deal with it as we come. I'll correct this tonight when I get off. But what I want to do is say, take your time, young lady. Look
Okay.
at that. Give me a buzz. I'm supposed to get in here and get in this gym.
Mhm.
Q, I want to thank you, brother. You know, you've been a
You know,
big
you
support,
don't mind
man.
if I, of course, look up some male influencers, and as a contrast, of course, you wouldn't mind that now, would you?
I don't care what
'Cause I'm just
what
curious to see, you know.
male or female. It doesn't matter to me because you know it's inherent that women are going to try to find flaws in men. That's just what it is. What we're talking about is how people are not receptive to a 50-50 relationship. That's what we're talking about. So
I think you need
you're
well, okay. I'm going to look this up, but I mean, I haven't heard your ideas yet on what they are. So maybe you can tell us about that tomorrow.
okay. Well, if you can find on here real men that's successful in life, that's not in agreement to 50-50 relationship, I'll close my podcast down.
Not in agreement. Okay. That makes no sense, but okay.
You're not going to find it.
Oh,
Because
I know that. I just realized that.
Listen, let me say this to you, Tabitha, again before in closing. Social media, again, influences over 80% of all human life on this planet.
Okay.
Okay? Whether good, bad, whether you believe in it, agree with it or not, they do. Okay? We're talking about 50-50, why women are so adamant about not embracing a man that's willing to come in and assist them when they're already doing everything 100%. Now,
Okay.
I'm going to give you a hypothetical before we leave. I pay all my bills. If a woman was willing to come in and brought the serenity and the tranquility that I desire and 50-50, bring your shit. In fact, I'm coming to get your shit and move you right up in here. But if you bring in drama, you can stay your ass over there in Section 8. You know, I don't need it. So that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about men don't do it, because I'm pretty sure men do it. But we're talking about what the consensus are. That it's more women than it is men. Not condescending. We're not being condescending. We're not degrading. We're talking about what social media is promoting. This is not something I'm promoting, because I'm willing to bet. In fact, Q, I'm gonna put this to you, bro. When you get a chance, we get a chance, we're gonna go out to the mall and stuff, okay? And we're gonna feel this, because I want her to see this. And we're gonna ask women, like they do, tell me, what do you believe in a 50-50 relationship? Do you feel do you believe in 50-50 relationship, or do you feel a man should come in and pay all your bills? And let's see what the women say.
Right. That's a good one. I'm down for that one.
And then
I would absolutely love to attend.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a mall date then. We got it.
It's a deal. So you on board, Tabitha?
I'm on board with all of this.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna let y'all go. I got to get in this gym.
Okay.
Thank you both for being on. Q, you my dude, man. Much love. Tabitha, much love to you. I don't know how many people are watching this, because some of the stuff is blocked out. So I know it's being recorded. So if not, I'll play it back. I'll take it and push it over to YouTube and Facebook tomorrow or later tonight, but probably tomorrow I have Sean come do it. But either way, thank you. It's been a lovely conversation, lovely topic. Do your research, young lady. We're going to get back to the consensus tomorrow. Q, if you want to be on board, just hit me up, brother. You know you're always welcome. Your input is highly respected and admired, because you that guy, man, for real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So being said, y'all have a blessed night. And
peace and air grease.
All right, 5,000. Audi 5,000.
Good night.